Hey there. If you've been in a gym for any length of time, you've probably heard people talking about how much protein they're eating. You might have even asked, for a high protein diet, how much protein should I be eating, trying to lose weight? Um, it's a topic that's been batted around a lot with a lot of information coming from the bodybuilding world. Which I mean, there's some great stuff that is found because of the way they play with their weight. Um, and the experimentation that goes on in that world. But this is something that doesn't really apply to most of us, okay? Uh, Typical protein needs, okay, for even someone who's like an athlete trying to work out um, 5 or 6 days a week, weight training, um, the max needed was found to be 75%, okay, of your body weight times the number of grams of protein. Okay, so if you take 75% of your body weight, that's how many grams of protein you need. Now, how do you find out what that is? Um, the easiest way is to use an app like MyFitnessPal and just plug in your food that you need for a few days and see where you end up, see where your protein's falling. Now, I'd say a good minimum is 50% of your body weight in terms of grams of protein. So if you weigh 200 pounds, 100 grams is great. That's a good minimum to make sure you're getting. So what would that look like? Well, if you're eating, say, 3 eggs for breakfast at 6 or 7 grams per egg, that's about 20 grams of protein right there. If you have a 6-ounce piece of whatever meat, whether it's chicken, beef, fish, you're going to be in the ballpark of 30 to maybe 35 grams of protein per serving. So if you had 2 pieces of 6-ounce, protein at lunch and dinner, one at lunch, one at dinner, and then your 3 eggs, you're in the ballpark of, say, 90 grams of protein. That's a good spot for most of us because that might cover 75% for a lot of people, which is, again, that's the most you need, even lifting weights all the time, okay? So high protein diets, I think for a while tend to push that a little too much because protein can't, I mean, when you eat too much protein, okay, more protein than you can synthesize and put to work at restoring muscle mass, it, one, does have an effect on insulin. So if you're trying to keep insulin low and allow more fat burning, there is a bump, okay, in your insulin. Not as big as carb, but it definitely is a bump, and of course fat is nothing. So if you're going to increase calories for satiety, you'd be better off going with a little more fat in your diet, keeping your protein at maybe 20 to possibly 30% of your total calories, with your fat being in the ballpark of maybe 50 to up to 70%, depending on how low carb you're going. I'll go to 70% fat when I'm eating 5 or 7% carb, and my protein pretty much stays the same, and that's a great fat burning day for me. Good low carb, kind of in a carb cycling mode. Carbs still really don't get much higher, maybe a 20-25% for me, and I might do a 50% fat on certain days. Protein, again, stays right around the 25% range. Again, you don't need too much of it. Will have a bump in insulin. You burn it as fuel. Okay, so if you need that to help you feel satisfied, that's fine. But also, too much protein can make you kind of constipated, and you really want to keep things moving. So for satiety, go for the veggies and the fat, and you'll be a lot better off. Okay, the one exception though, or 2 exceptions really, to excessive protein. So where you're doing it at 1 gram per pound of body weight or more, 1.5, would be bodybuilders taking steroids because they have the hormones going in their body, right, to help synthesize all that protein and actually put on 10 or 20 pounds of muscle in a short period of time. And like young guys, teenagers or college age, who again are hormonally gifted at that age to be able to synthesize that much protein and put on a lot of weight, yeah, they can eat more and they'll actually be able to put it to use. But the rest of us, it just turns to waste, or we'll burn it off. It kind of can get in the way of fat burning for a short period of time till insulin comes back down. So it's just not really worth it for us to overload on that protein. Talk to you later.